Superhero X is a really damn good anime that I would recommend to anyone. Cool characters, fights, and soundtracks all make it such an enjoyable series. And so, obviously, I was really hyped about the SH Figuarts to go with it, as both of the figures looked good, and I really wanted X since he is the #1 guy in the show, and is all around really cool and interesting. I mean, bro can literally go from 2D to 3D with a snap of his fingers, which is so insane. But sadly, the figure for him isn't, as it didn't meet my expectations and is instead riddled with many annoying things that just can't justify his price for me.
So loud. Breather.
But let's first talk about one of the good things with this release, the packaging. It's really fun as it has all these vibrant colors and like pixely background that matches X's powers in the series well. Then we can see the figure inside very well, and it's kinda weird seeing bro without glasses. Over here, we got his hero ranking, #1 since you know, he's the GOAT, and then his name, X, yeah, just X, but that's because he's a top hero and that's what they are called. And then there isn't much going on with the top, sides, and bottom of the box, and the back is chill as has a cool promo of X and some of his different display options. Overall, the box is really neat and cool, but sadly, the figure doesn't quite match this. And don't get me wrong, this guy has been fun to pose and fiddle around with, but man, this guy has issues, and I really hate saying that as X is such a cool character, but damn y'all, Tamashii fell short with this figure. Like with the appearance, it has a lot of things that I just personally don't like.
God, what is that?
First up, the glasses. I don't think I don't like them because they look bad. No, I'm actually fine with their look. It's actually more because, as y'all can see here, they are broken. Yeah, now I am the one who broke them while swapping, and so I can take some of the blame, but Tamashii takes some as well for this design and weak plastic. Because, you know, typically when they do like glasses or goggles on characters, you can typically just like slide them on and off. But with this guy, they peg into the side of his face, which is great and all for keeping them on securely, but they are on too good, and the only way to get them off is by bending this part up some, and as y'all can see, it just doesn't go well. And I was careful as heck, guys, because I knew they'd break. But you know what, now that I'm thinking about it, why do I have to swap these glasses? Like, why not just give a pair of glasses for each face? Because, you know, X really doesn't take his glasses off, and if they are off on this figure, they have this ugly indentation in the side of his head, so I really just wish they gave all of his faces glasses instead of this cheap crap. So, that's a major bummer, and I'll try to glue them back eventually. And then turning this guy around, we have these jacket flaps, and they are pretty choppy and don't really sit the best, but I do get why they are like this, as it can be useful in poses, and I appreciate the thought, and it does have its uses. But, I'm gonna be real, I personally would just rather this jacket area to be one piece, or maybe have an alternate lower piece that is up and isn't cut up to use in action shots, like how they did with a figure like the Diamond Goku, or I don't know, just something that isn't like this because I am just not a fan. Of course though, y'all let me know how y'all think and feel about this area. And then this guy is very shiny and kind of makes him look cheap. I don't know if this shine and stuff was intentional, but he just, yeah, looks cheap. Like, I seriously have no clue why they have bro oiled the heck up. Because his face is matte and stuff, but the white part, heck no. Maybe they just wanted to reflect bro's powers or something, I don't know. But it really makes bro look cheap, which is unfortunate, as besides that, and of course his lower jacket area, he does have the groundwork to look really good. I mean, his proportions aren't bad, though I do think his shoulders could be a little bit wider, and then his face likeness is pretty good for his 2D look. Of course, I do wish his hairline was more flush here, and then he does have some decent detailing and paintwork around his collar and stuff, so it's not all bad, but damn, his shine and lower jacket area really throw the look off for me.
I don't believe in overtime. This sucks.
And then I wish I could say that the accessories make up for all the not ideal things about his look, but they don't, as they have their issues as well. First up, this guy's selection isn't a lot for his retail price of 9,900 yen, which is the same price as Toji and more expensive than Usopp, which are both figures that dog on this selection. Like, starting off with, he only has 4 faceplates, which I mean all don't look bad, and I really enjoy this winking one and the serious one, but these two right here are so damn similar it ain't even funny. And some of y'all might be thinking, what's the difference? Well, the eyebrow positioning and smile is the main thing, but it's so hard to tell difference, so I would just rather a different expression here instead of two very similar faces. And then as mentioned earlier, you have to swap the glasses each time you swap these faces, which will more than likely end in catastrophe due to the design. At least after the faces, he does come with a good spread of hands, as he has some open relaxed hands, some like fisted hands which kind of look like coin flip hands, but I don't think they are. He has two snapping hands, which are perfect for doing his signature ability, and I'm so happy with them. Then he has one pointer finger hand, which I think is meant more for like after he snaps kind of hand, which is cool. Then lastly, he has like this open holding like hand, which I guess is meant for a pose like this, but in my opinion, I think it would have been better holding a soda, as that is iconic to the character to me and would have been a great addition, but sadly, he doesn't come with that. But still though, this is a good selection of hands. And then lastly, he comes with these pocketed hand pieces, and they suck. And it's not because of how they look when being used, because I don't mind that. But it's the fact that her connection is so freaking weak. Barely even moving the legs causes them to pop out. And shoot, you ain't even gotta move them sometimes to pop out, and it's annoying. Would have been better if they did this like the SHF Sanji or Leorio. Like, they are almost there, but the connection on these is buns. And then you have to deal with the jacket flaps when using these pieces, and it's also another annoying thing to deal with. And it drives me crazy at times.
It drives me crazy at times.
And that is it for the accessories. For his price of like 9,900 yen in Japan, this selection just ain't cutting it for me. Especially when he could have came with like a coin, soda can, and even another pair of glasses that aren't see-through for like a serious look, you know? At least I can say his articulation ain't bad, as he can actually pose pretty well and hit some X poses, but there is still some weird things going on here. First up, the head can look up a little bit, not a lot though because of the hair and like his collar. Then he can look a good ways downwards, gets fine side to side motion, and then the tilt is there. Then the shoulders, they definitely can be a little bit strange, as when you bring them up, there's a big empty space here. Definitely weird looking, though it doesn't personally bother me a lot, but I know to some, it definitely would drive some of y'all bonkers, and I can definitely see why. Maybe if they tried to do it like SHF Leorio, it'd be better, but I don't really know exactly how they would execute this since X-Suit is pretty baggy. Then the shoulders do get some rotation, and the arms can cross over one another a little bit going forwards, but backwards not really. He has a bicep swivel, single joint elbows that bend a little bit past 90 degrees, not bad range, and the setup isn't ugly, but you already know, some more range would always be nice. And then the wrist articulation moves around smoothly. At the torso, it gets a little bit of side to side motion, and it can get more range here, but you have to be aware of these flaps, as they can pop off when utilizing this movement. Then the forwards and backwards motion is pretty limited, and there's no tilt. And the same goes for the waist, as there's no tilt there, only side to side motion, and here's his total forwards and backwards crunch. Yeah, pretty stiff. At least his leg range is a saving grace with articulation, as it isn't bad since his crotch piece is a soft plastic, so the legs can kick ridiculously far forwards and backwards, which is always nice to see. The outwards range though isn't as much, but it isn't terrible. Then he has a thigh swivel, and I'll give them their props here for it not looking chopped like how they do on their other suited characters. So that's a minor but cool improvement to see. And then he has double joint knees that I have no issues with, and then neck articulation is decent, as there's some fine rotation, but the feet don't go up far and only really go down, and then the rocker could be a bit better. And then finally, he has a toe joint. At first, I thought it only went this far, but you really gotta push to get the maximum range here, and so that's fine. And so yeah, there's definitely a fair share of interesting and not ideal things going on with his articulation. But still, even with those, he can definitely hit and pull off his signature poses, and even just like some fun random ones, which is nice. And then for his scale, here he is next to other SH Figuarts. He seems to scale pretty well with them, though I still wish X was a little bit beefier up top, but he does look nice next to him. And then here he is next to Robotech All Might, since both of these guys are the #1 heroes, and then so you guys can get a better idea on how he scales, here he is next to some more random figures. So yeah, to me this figure falls short of being good, as there's just so many things that I'm just not fond of about this release, such as annoying jacket flaps, his very shiny and reflective look, lack of accessories, the very weak connected pocketed hand pieces, and the brittle glasses and her design, since it is a disaster waiting to happen for many. And for the premium price this guy goes for, none of this is acceptable. And it's such a bummer because I have had some fun posing this guy, and he can definitely look good on display, and so I'm sure many X fans might still be satisfied with this guy and have fun with it, especially since, you know, it is the only X action figure on the market, so there is no competition, and so I can see why someone would still want this and be grateful to have it. And that isn't to say that I'm not appreciative for this release, because I am, but I can't say that I'm satisfied with it, and so it's a subpar release to me, and that makes me sad. Maybe Lucky Cyan will be better, and to be honest, she might, as her figure actually looks like it offers a lot more, so we'll see how she is. But until then, I thank you guys for watching, and if you haven't, please watch Superhero X at its peak.